Jumping ahead to the Men's College World Series. You know, Max, how you feeling about it? My most important thing, the Jello shot record wasn't broken this year. Fortunately enough, LSU has the number one and two spots all time. They just came up short this year. I think, if we would have had a game three of the finals, LSU gets close, but I don't know.
LSU pitching had very different plans. They weren't sticking around for that third game. They kind of just quieted Coastal's bats and they just rode on that. I mean, you had excellent performance out of LSU in game one from Cade Anderson. You went nine shutout innings, and if you can get that out of the pitchers, you're going to win a lot of games. And
Mm. Something interesting to note as well. Yeah, as you're saying, went the nine innings, three hits allowed, 10 Ks. He did walk five guys, but I mean that's going to happen obviously when, especially when you throw 130 plus pitches. And he was not really dropping much in velocity either. I mean, I think his last pitch of the night was what 93, 94. And I mean, it's something, MLB, you see guys get pulled after 80 pitches a lot of times. And well, college, that's a bit different. This guy's throwing 130 pitches and he's not dropping velocity at all. He's in there humming it. Paul Skeens, like you could say, not as hard as Paul, obviously. I mean, Paul's built in a lab. I don't know, but
not too many pitchers are Paul Skeens.
but LSU connection there though.
No, for sure. And I think the interesting part of that in game one, it was 1-0. LSU scored in the first and then just didn't need to score again. They were like, all right, we got our one run, we're good.
Mhm. Yeah, then I credit Coastal Carolina's pitching staff as well, though. Their starter threw a very quality game. Yeah, he went six innings, gave up one run in the first, had nine Ks, threw 101 pitches, 67 strikes, so very solid. Shout out, I mean, that was impressive by itself.
I mean, I bet Coastal would have taken that every day of the week, game one, taking that out of your pitcher, for only four hits, six innings, one earned one run. I feel like Coastal would have taken that in a heartbeat. It was just Kate Anderson was just better on that day. And
Yeah, and that's the beauty of baseball too, is you know, it, especially national championship. Two really good pitchers that had their stuff, and one, you can make one bad pitch, and he was maybe a few inches off of where you wanted to put that pitch, or it got hit up the middle for the only run of the game for LSU. But I credit uh Coastal Carolina pitcher. After that first inning, he locked in, said, "All right, this is done." Shout out Fluky, and I credit him, and shout out their bullpen as well. And Carboni came in, two innings, two hits, two Ks, no runs. I mean, didn't walk a guy. So, and from what I remember as well is his first batter of the game, or his first batter in that seventh inning there, he was down 3-0 and came back and got it ground out. And so that was impressive.
yeah, for sure they did. Yeah, it was quite the pitcher's duel, not just from Lukey, but Carbone on the Coastal Carolina side, providing the counter punches to Anderson. Just one run was all it was it. And it was interesting. LSU almost hit into a double play. They just hit it just softly enough where they weren't able to turn two.
Mhm.
LSU gets the base hit the next batter, and now it's 1-0, and that's all you needed.
Mhm. Which there was also a situation in that game that we wanted to talk about here regarding a hit batter. And this is going to be very interesting. I mean, the fact was that it was interesting as well because it was a 3-2 count. So,
No,
the
absolutely. So for those of you that didn't see it, LSU got into a full count. The pitch throws it pitch, runs inside. Definitely was going to be a ball.
ball
Hits
four
the L
away.
yeah, hits the LSU player in like the elbow guard. They rule, but he like as he was like turning away, he like dipped his elbow into it. So they ruled he intentionally got hit by the pitch, which I agree with. I definitely would say that. So in college baseball, it's a strike. So because it was a full count, he got out. In my opinion, I don't think it should be a strike. Just call the pitch as it was going to be. Don't give him his space. I understand that, but I think it's dumb that that's a strike, and now he's going to walk back to the dugout.
Right. Yeah, I mean, throwing in, I mean, the fast count as well just makes it even more interesting. But I'm going to go differently here. I mean, you knew it was going to be a ball, and you decide, throw it in there. I feel like you need to get punished for that type of thing. Even though it was a three, you could say, yeah, 3-2 count, all that. I mean, you knew it was going to be a ball. You leaned your elbow in intentionally. I feel like you need to get punished for that. I agree with the call. I will say that. I agree after the review with the call. The smart challenge by the Coastal Carolina coaching staff. And yeah, that's just my opinion on it. I believe he needed to get punished for it. Getting punished is the only way these players are going to learn. I'm not sure what the rules at MLB, but
Why is it
just
good enough at every other level that they just don't get their base? I mean, that is punishment enough, in my opinion. You just don't get your base. Like, don't do it. Like, we're not going to give it to you. Like, it almost feels like yeah, it was weird that he tried now to like get hit because either way, it's ball four.
right. That's what I thought was so unique about it as well is it's ball four. And as a player, you probably know the rules better. You obviously know the rules better than me. Why are you leaning into it?
Yeah, I it's like, yeah, that was very dumb. Fortunately, it didn't cost LSU the game. Otherwise, Charles Schwab Field may have burned to the ground.
Right.
But like, yeah, I still think it's dumb. Like every other league is just like, yeah, you're still here. I mean, in this case, he would have just said, yeah, it's ball four. Go take your base, whatever. And like, yeah, it's like it's dumb. I mean, yeah, yeah, I feel like that's a dumb rule. Just call it a ball or a strike, I guess, if it was over the plate. Now, I kind of want to disincentivize it, especially like having Max Scherzer lose a perfect game because the guy was almost
That reminded me exactly of that. Like,
that one was even more egregious. He was like,
I
he almost
agree.
took
That
away
was
a
way more
strike.
egregious.
Like that one almost took away a strike, and yeah, that one was like blatant, and yeah, this is just like one of the weird quirks of college baseball is that's the only league where it's an automatic strike,
Mhm.
which I still think is dumb, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. LSU won. I don't think they'll care too much.
Right.
I
Well,
mean, but also LSU fans were saying he didn't intentionally do it.
I think it was pretty intentional.
It looked rather intentional. I like to say perception is reality. It sure looked like that was intentional.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
watching it live, I thought it looked pretty intentional, and when they slowed it down, I thought it looked really intentional. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, just take your base. Don't, yeah. I don't know why he tried to do that there in that moment, but he's a national champion, so who am I to
yeah.
criticize?
Right. Well, yeah. As we mentioned, LSU won game one. Pitcher still game two though. This it was rather interesting, especially in the first inning with the I'm not gonna I don't like to criticize officiating or umpiring too much because I officiate, but come on, man.
That
I
is
mean, come
that
on.
that was severe case of rabbit ears.
Yeah. And the funny part too is, the one ump trying to block him that and he trips on his own shoelace and falls down and
Yeah, it was the umps were a major storyline in game two, especially
yeah.
during that first inning. Because I think Coastal Carolina, their coaches would have been suspended game three.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, I think they would have too, yeah.
Yeah, so
For
it
making
was
contact with the umpire and yeah, ejected.
taking. I feel like you could have appealed that one. That one may have been overturned on appeal, but yeah, no, there was definitely suspensions looming. I mean, we were almost close to getting a call, I assume. They lost their first base coach. Manager gets ejected right away.
Mhm.
First base coach also gets ejected. You don't see that all that often from coaches,
Mhm.
especially like base coaches to get ejected. I mean, it seemed like a pretty soft ejection too, and just not only in a regular season game, but in a elimination game in Omaha.
Right. And national championship as well.
Yeah.
From what we've been told is that umpire he was an MLB 2 years ago. Got demoted because he was pretty he, let's just say he threw guys out without much of a without much getting said to him. So
Quick trigger.
yeah, and he gets demoted to College World Series, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's definitely not something you want to see in the college. Umpires never want to be talked about, especially
Right.
like during a game, and like that for them to be talked about in that way is pretty bad, and like takes away from LSU. They won the game.
right?
Won
But
the national title in 2 games, swept the college men's college World Series, and not a lot of people were talking about them afterwards.
right, they were yeah. The focus was on the umpires, and
Yeah,
that's
that
unfortunate because LSU played a great game. Bats kind of finally came alive for both teams. We actually saw some runs, more than one this game,
yeah.
and in a 5-3 game taken by the Tigers from down in the Bayou. But yeah, I didn't get to watch this game a whole lot just because I was busy at work. But kind of what were your thoughts?
I mean, LSU was finally exploded for their big inning. They heard the commentators talk about it. They're the big inning, 4-run fourth, put them over. It's tied 1-1. They have that 4-1 fourth, and they can just kind of coast all the way through the rest of the championship, and that's all you really need. And like an explosive offense like that to have their big inning and just that explosive, and like you have the momentum back, and it's less nervousness. Like, oh, is this the day we do it? Are we gonna do it? It's like we are gonna do it, and like we're excited because it takes that edge off.
hmm The pitching for LSU, they had can't remember what even this is Addison. He went six in the third, 7 hits allowed, 3 runs. And they were both earned, or all three of them were earned, 1 walk, 9 Ks. So he, he definitely threw pretty well. And Shores came in the seventh, and he gave up 1 hit, struck out 4. Looked very efficient. Yeah, a really impressive series by the LSU pitching staff.
I mean, doesn't look as great when you compare it to a 9 inning shutout the day before, but I mean, you said efficiency right there. 28 pitches, 22 strikes, and almost 3 innings. Like that's just efficient. That's getting outs right there. And LSU fans are celebrating the fact like the one of the best duos in college baseball, and they put it on display here. Basically, won them a College World Series. Like
hmm
on the backs, like definitely won them that championship series. Definitely was a bright spot for that LSU team.
hmm Yeah, I mean LSU, they just reminded everybody that they truly are a dominant force in college baseball. Every year, I feel like Vanderbilt kind of gets the attention. They were down in the first round this year of the regionals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for LSU, to come out and, the SEC didn't have the greatest of regionals and super regions this year. I will say that. But LSU proved that baseball in the Southeastern Conference is still legit, and they were dominant.
And I think it's so interesting how they almost lost to another SEC school in at least game one. Now they had 2 chances to beat Arkansas. Who knows
Mhm.
what would have happened Thursday, but they needed Arkansas to be Arkansas when it came to Omaha. And I guess I said they'd overcome the Demons. Demons fought back even harder against them. I mean, it was you just watching it live, it's oh no. Oh no. It's just like everything that could go wrong for that Arkansas team did. And LSU was more than happy to oblige and capitalize on their opportunity in the championship series.
Yeah, and Coastal Carolina was hot too. I mean, they lost 2 games, through regionals, super regionals. That was in the national championship series,
Yeah. No,
and
it's
so they were very hot coming in. And Tiger pitching staff shut them down, and yeah,
yeah, they didn't lose at all during the month of yeah, didn't lose at all during the month of May. These are their only 2 losses during June. They were on a 26-game winning streak heading into the championship series, and LSU to shut them down.
Mhm. So yeah, very impressive performance by the Tigers.
Oh, absolutely.